Greetings and welcome to Elect Connect, a candidate forum brought to you by the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce. I'm Mary Morgan, the Chamber's Director of Advocacy and Public Policy. We'll be talking with Cathy Fuentes-Rohwer, a candidate for the Monroe County Community School Corporation Trustee in District 4. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our Elect Connect sponsors. Without their support, this work would not be possible. Those sponsors are Comcast Business, Bunger & Robertson, the City of Bloomington, German American Bank, Hoosier Energy, Indiana University, and Smithville. And now I'd like to welcome Cathy Fuentes-Rohwer. Cathy, good to be here with you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Sure. Well, I'd like to start out by asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for office this year.
Well, I am a mother of three kids who have graduated from Mccsc, and I have a high school sophomore still, one left to go. I am a deeply committed public education advocate, and before I ran for Mccsc school board, I had worked on the referendum campaign of 2010 as a canvassing coordinator, and that really was around the time that we started seeing an attack against public education as a whole. And so I got involved in an organization called the Indiana Coalition for Public Education, and was one of the founders of a new chapter then in about 2011-12 of that group here in Monroe County. And I was the chairperson of that for about 7 years, and I'm now the state president of that organization. I ran for school board in 2016, and just now I'm finishing up my first term as the school board president. And I ran because I felt that it was really important to have a person on the board that had children in school. I was the only one who had a child in school at that time when I won. Now we have 4. And I also felt it was very important that we work and focus on ensuring that we're fulfilling public education's promise for equity for all children, making sure that we are advocating for our public schools. And so I'm running for board again because 4 years was about the time it took me to figure out really what that role was. It's very nuanced, and I feel like now is a very difficult time to be a school board member, and you need people who really understand the role, who understand the big picture of public education, the importance of protecting and improving it, and from privatization. And we have a new superintendent search going on that that person's going to need some transition with people who understand the community and have been in the role of public education, of being on the school board. And we also have some dark times ahead financially. So these are really emotional times. People are very divided. And I think you need somebody with experience and knowledge to keep us grounded in those decisions.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that. I did have a question for you. As students are returning to school, what kind of feedback have you heard so far? And is there anything you'd suggest that MCCSC should do differently based on your feedback?
You know, MCCSC is continuing to work on making communication clearer to people and more accessible. Because my experience in the last 4 years is that people who are accusing others of a lack of transparency and that kind of thing is often that they just haven't gotten the message. So you have to really work at trying to get the information to people, and we continue to try to work on that. This has been such a really emotional time for people, and there are so many people that are frightened about this virus. But the feedback that we have received from people in the classroom whose kids have done the in-school option, and actually the people who are online, has been largely positive. I think that families understand that our teachers are incredibly burdened with having to do so much right now under so much pressure. And but there are so many grateful people who really, really were suffering, or who can speak for children who were suffering at being at home and being isolated. I mean, children learn best in school, And then it takes a lot of work to have kids learn well from home, but it also takes somebody there to it's not just the Wi-Fi, it's the adult that's there to help them learn online, that has the knowledge and ability and time to do that. And it just was not working for our children. And so I'm glad that the health experts have said that it's safe enough for us to offer this kind of option for our students, because our kids are needing to be in school, and I know my kid is glad to be in school.
All right. Well, thank you so much. As a reminder, we've been talking with Cathy Fuentes-Rohwer. She's a candidate for trustee in the Monroe County Community School Corporation District 4 race. One final shout out to our Elect Connect sponsors, Comcast Business, Bunger and Robertson, the City of Bloomington, German American Bank, Hoosier Energy, Indiana University, and Smithville. And finally, a reminder to absolutely vote on November 3rd, or take advantage of early voting if you can. For information about the election and all the candidates that represent parts of our community, there are a couple of online resources, monroecountyvoters.us and the Chamber's nonpartisan election site, chamberbloomington.org/2020-general-election. Thanks so much for joining us.